We are live. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Blake Ruffino. This is Are You Serious Sports. We hope that you guys are making it a good one. We know that we are as well. Huge show in store for you tonight, obviously, as Tigers win. Another shutout. 16 to 0 versus the UNO Pirates, right? The Pirates. Like Johnny Depp, arg, right? Or the privateers, excuse me. The privateers. But nevertheless, LSU does get a massive win. We'll break that game down. I guess some of our thoughts in reference to what it's going to look like now that you are now in conference play. I mean, now the Tigers are on 11 run win streak and really doing it in an emphatic fashion. Started off in the fifth inning tonight. You were a little sluggish to get things going. I mean, the bottom of the first, you had bases loaded, and Ethan Fry was unable to capitalize on the bases loaded. Then the bottom of the second, you had a strikeout by Jones. Thompson grounded out to short. Milazzo line drive in the left, and Paxton Kling then struck out. You come into the bottom of the third, live drive in the left from Morgan, but then Cruz lined out to second. Tommy White lined out to short. Dugas hit a ball to the first baseman. Then you had Fry go out, Jones Cade again, and then Thompson hit one right back up to the pitcher. So, look, you started off really slow through 4 innings, okay? And with that being said, this team has, I think, started off a little bit slow more than we anticipate sometimes, but this is why baseball is a 9-inning game and not a 5-inning game, because once that happened, obviously you get the walk from Dugas and then or walk after this, but Tommy Tanks hits the 3-run home run, and then you just don't let up after that. You continue to score in droves. It was a big night for the Tigers. Chance Babin says that the Mercer kid had Tigers frustrated early. No doubt he did. No doubt he had them really worried and struggling early with how he did things. The privateers were declassified, says Ryan on YouTube. Dylan Nation says, how about Edwards coming in and shutting everything down? It's very true. Now, Zach, our producer, fell asleep allegedly. He has the look of shame. Tisk, tisk, tisk. Tisk, tisk, tisk. But nevertheless, I mean, look, you had Cruz who doubled off the center field wall, Kling. And look, LSU, when they couldn't score runs, played a little bit of small ball, right? And forced UNO to create errors, or forced them to into fielding positions, and then it created errors, which then created more runs. I don't mind that at all. I don't mind that at all. So, yeah. Ryan said falling asleep on the job. Y'all should see him. He looks like a little puppy. Oh, no. After we went up 10, I was out like a light, says Zach. I don't blame you. These are the worst of them. So now that we're going to be in SEC play, and I don't think that we'll have 7 innings anymore. That's how sometimes it normally has worked. What we will do is either go before or after, right? We'll go before or after. I'm not going to continue to go this late. Jacob Wiggins says it was murder. I tell you, it was, man. Again, guys, and we'll talk about this out of the break, but I just think for me, going into all of this, at the end of the day, when they're annihilating opponents. Okay. And again, LSU went 17-13 in conference last season. Someone's going to have to explain to me, Like, somebody's going to have to explain to me how they're not going to get better or not equally be the same. I just don't see this team losing 13 times in conference. I just cannot envision it. They're too good. They're just too damn good. So whether either I am completely biased here, like completely biased, I just can't see LSU going 17-13. Maybe I'm wrong, man. Baseball's a weird game. So we'll see. Jason Brumfield says he's Doctor Strange. He's already seen the outcome. He's talking about you, Zach. He's talking about you. Then why didn't you tell me the outcome? Is that not how it works? I guess it's not how it works. He says Old BD should have taken the mercy rule. Yeah, Blake Dean should have taken the mercy rule, but he didn't. Well, he didn't. Chris Barnhill said 2 conference wins is more this 2 conference wins or more this season. Yeah, I think, man, I think that they can get to 20. I really do think, Chris, that they can get to 20 because I don't think they get swept by Arkansas this year, right? Like, I don't think that they I don't know. I don't envision stuff like that. Like, I think they could take 2 or 3 from Tennessee, obviously. Maybe I'm just crazy here. And you're going to see better pitching starting this weekend. You're going to see better hitters starting this weekend. I mean, we'll get a lot of answers or a lot of questions start to be answered here very soon. Very, very, very soon. Okay. So let's do this. Let's talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag and our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons. Everybody do us a favor before we get rolling, though, by hitting the like and share to all of those Facebook groups. Share to all of those social media pages. We greatly appreciate you doing that for us. Wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe. Thank you so much for doing so. If you're listening to us on Facebook, the groups, and share to your own social media pages, like we mentioned, YouTube, subscribe and notification bell. Also, wherever you listen to podcasts, rate, review, and subscribe as well. All right. Let's do this. Talk about our good friends over at betonline.ag and our good friends over at GM Varno & Sons. We're back in 1 minute. Let's break down this baseball game. LSU football update. I didn't even mention, Zach, the other things that we're going to talk about. Will Wade suspended, NFL free agency, and as we do every Tuesday and Thursday, Has Blake. We're back in a minute. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag. With over 65 years of experience, nobody is better equipped to service in your vehicle than GM Varno & Sons. RV repair, big rig overhauls, motorhome chassis, routine maintenance, tire rotations, tire sales. No job is too big or too small over at GM. If you break down the side of the road in the greater Baton Rouge area, they will come and get you. And the best thing about that is that they can come and get you, and then they can bring your vehicle back to their shop and start the repairs right then. Again, GM Varno & Sons. Go see them over at 2500 Fuller Boulevard. Give them a call at 225-664-9992. 225-664-9992. Tell them your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by.
We're back.
What in the hell is this? Pound on. That's what I tell my wife all the time. Pound on. Knock on wood. Okay. All right. Okay. I'm just surprised you can get emojis from a keyboard. I didn't even know that was possible. Holden Lee says, remember now, UNO scored 30 plus last game because that was against an HBCU. But I agree, that's a lot of runs in any game. Goes to show how good our staff is. I mean, Holden, they play. Holden, they played a really, really bad team. A really bad team. You know, I mean, if you're gonna give them that, then you need to give LSU all those wins too, right? And I'm not saying Holden's not. But that's a really, really bad team. But I mean, I guess it just depends on, like they were put, like if I'm not mistaken, they were putting like the left fielder and like the shortstop in to pitch, or one of them. I don't remember, but you're right, it did get bad, and that's still pretty impressive. What do I know? It's still pretty impressive. I only run toss dive on YouTube says LSU leads the nations in shutouts. Wes Johnson's the man. Well, we're about to find out. So let's talk about it. Look, like I mentioned earlier, you do lead the nation in shutouts. You lead the nation, or you broke an LSU record. I would assume, because they're talking about 7 innings. I think you're either close, or you have even broken the record in shutouts for a season. Guys, I mean, how many do they have to continue to have? Look, I think we all knew that this lineup was going to be something serious. I mean, there's no way that you're going to keep Tommy Tanks, Trey Morgan, Dylan Cruz, Paxton Kling, Gavin Dugas, who hit a bomb tonight as well. You're not going to keep all of those guys down for the entire game. The only time that really ever happened was Texas. Through 9 innings or through 8 innings, you are in a scenario and situation where you were pretty much shut down to some extent. Now, some would say Iowa, and I would combat that a little bit by just simply saying, Zach, what was it? 15 runners? I think it was 15 runners were stranded against Iowa? 17? 16. Okay, so 16 guys were stranded on base against Iowa. That's not doing much, and so quite honestly, and being upfront, I did kind of want to see LSU kind of go through the ringer a little bit. To be frank with you, I wanted to see them go and be in another game 1-0 in the bottom of the ninth or top of the ninth. How does this team going to respond? Because you're going to be in those scenarios through SEC play. No one's really challenged them other than Iowa and Texas, probably their 2 best opponents so far this season. Now, Iowa didn't have a good weekend at all. They look to be kind of tinkering down a little bit, but that's not so much on their pitching as it really kind of is what they're doing at the plate. So, I mean, look, what do you say at this point? You're here now. Guys, you'll go through Wednesday and Thursday, and then LSU baseball will start back up on Friday, and then you have A&M. You go into an SEC conference, you go into SEC play, and then you go into a scenario where you're about to find out how good is this team really. Now, A&M hasn't looked fantastically great, but last year you thought that A&M was going to struggle. I mean, everybody thought A&M was going to struggle. They were picked last in the SEC West, or to finish last in the SEC West, and they finished first. A lot like the same deal that came to play in the SEC West in football literally a couple months after that this past year, when LSU was picked damn near last to finish in every poll in the SEC West by a lot of people, and then they go and they win the whole thing. Do I think that's going to happen here? No. Do I think that, I mean, Zach, who would be the worst team in the West? I mean, is it State? Now, I don't think that State would win it all, but I mean, I could see an A&M doing it again. I can see Ole Miss doing it again. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Ole Miss lost tonight or today. Yes, State or Auburn. I mean, and hell, Auburn lost to Southeastern this past weekend. They lost 2 or 3 to Southeastern in a doubleheader this past weekend. But I say that, that they lost to Southeastern. Shout up, by the way, line up, go Lions. But you got swept this time last year by Tech. So I get to a point where you still went 17-13 in the conference. I mean, baseball's just one of those sports, man. Just one of those sports. It's not like the big three or the other big two, I should say. It's just not like the other big two. So, Chance Babin says, hashtag ask Blake, what do you think about baseball schedule 2025? Doesn't bother me. Have 2 common opponents and rotate the other 8. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't bother me at all. And really and truly, why should it? You know, why should it? Chance, it doesn't bother me either which way. I mean, because really and truthfully, I mean, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong here. I don't go into a baseball series saying, oh, this is a rivalry. You know, LSU baseball doesn't really have, at least to my knowledge, maybe I'm wrong here, but they don't have an Alabama football. Yeah, maybe Florida. Yeah, I guess that's okay, but we don't play Florida this year, right? I mean, like, you don't even play them. So, you know, it's, yeah, maybe Florida, maybe, but that's really only dictated to you losing the national title in 2017. Okay. And so, therefore, I don't necessarily consider that an utter rivalry. I mean, and here's another thing. You almost hired their head coach. So, I don't personally, I just don't see that as like Alabama's coming to Baton Rouge this week. The whole damn town shutting down, the whole damn state shutting down. So for me, Chance, I just don't see it to a point where it bothers, like it doesn't bother me either way. I'm okay with either one. Now, and I would love, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong here. Didn't Ole Miss beat Oklahoma in the national championship last year? I'm pretty sure Oklahoma was in the Natty last year. I mean, guys, I want to go to Norman and play. I want to go to Texas and play. I don't want to have to, So I'm perfectly okay with that. I'm perfectly okay with it. Now, it just doesn't bother me, I guess, like some others it does. But those 8 other series, but here's what the problem with that is. I don't think that and Georgia's not a bad team. Georgia's not bad now. But I just don't foresee you having a series where it's bad baseball. I mean, you could be in a scenario where in a weekend you play Texas, let's say Ole Miss, and let's say Florida, and then let's say Tennessee or Vandy, right? Like, that's a hell of a series. That's a hell of a month. That's one hell of a month of baseball. And I think it does make your conference. I do think it makes your brand bigger. What do I know? Yeah, state or Auburn. We'll see, man. Dane Bergeron says, "How about them Tigers? How about those Tigers, Blake? 16-0, look great. Look great after the 5th inning or during the 5th inning. Until then, they look pretty putrid." All right, everybody, do us a favor by hitting like and share. Don't be a Rudy Poo. Archie to win. Archie in the West. They don't like. I'm not just. It's not Bama for me. It's just not Bama. Darren says, agree. LSU doesn't have a baseball rivalry, but I will say there are several SEC teams who think LSU as their rival. That's true. And you know what? Now you kind of maybe know what Alabama feels like. If I'm being truthful in football. Guys, talk to any Alabama fan. They think you're a rival game. They don't see you like Auburn. They don't see you like Tennessee. They don't. Alabama would rather beat Tennessee and Auburn than beat you. Well, meaning from a pure rivalry standpoint, meaning like if they knew that they can make the playoff and they had to pick 2 teams to beat instead out of the 3, and they knew that they would make a playoff, they would rather beat Tennessee and Auburn rather than you. Okay. So now you know what it feels to be like on top. And when Saban is gone from Alabama, is Alabama gonna be on the forefront of your mind as a rival like it is right now? Saban's not gonna be there forever. Guys, we're gonna have this conversation in 10 years. We're gonna have this conversation in 10 years. Okay. And when we have that conversation in 10 years, you're probably not going to look at Alabama as the rival that you think that they are. It's just how the cookie crumbles. Timmy Martin says, got a chance to see Connor Griffin play tonight. He's definitely a freak. Yeah, LSU NIL is going to have to really come to play. They're going to have to really come to play if you ever want to see that kid in a uniform. And I will tell you, he will start day one. Connor Griffin will start center field over Paxton Kling, and he will hit third. Okay? Don't get it twisted. Like, when you talk to baseball guys, they compare him to without the dad putting Bryce on Sports Illustrated, the magazine. You remember that? They consider Connor Griffin their next Josh Hamilton, Derek Jeter, Mike Trout, Mookie Betts, Bryce Harper, Steven Strasburg. You get what I mean? Like, just transcendent dudes. That's how they see him. Everybody. That kid makes it to campus. Then you're cooking with grease. Then you're really cooking with grease. Chad says Alabama in football, Kentucky in basketball, and LSU in baseball get everybody's best. I agree with that. I think that that's a fair comparison. I think that is a very good take. That's a very, very good take. Alabama in football, Kentucky in basketball, and LSU in baseball is going to get everybody's best game. I agree with that wholeheartedly. You are that dude in baseball. You are that dude. And so tonight, what do you want me to break down in this game? That you struggled through 4 innings, and then in the 5th, Dugas, Tanks, Beloso all started mashing. Bottom of the ninth, Jones walks, Thompson's hitting the head, Milazzo, the bunt, then clean the bunt, then Morgan line out to right field, gets an RBI. Cruz hits a double off the wall. Tommy White comes back up and hits a frozen rope up the middle. I mean, you couldn't get out. I mean, you faced one really good pitcher and a guy that you just was really funky. He had a very strange delivery when it comes to how he threw his off speed. Sometimes it would be more like a slurve, and then sometimes it'd go and fall off the table. So Neil Bruno says, Coach second year is amazing. Speaking of that, let me throw this out here very quickly. Zach, did you see today that Will Wade's been suspended for 5 games? So in case you missed it, Will Wade's been suspended for 5 games. This is what they said. Let me pull this up, Zachy, so people can see it. This is what they had to say in reference to it. Hold on, I'm pulling it up. This is what was said today by Jeff Goodman. He said, McNeese State AD Heath Schroyer to stadium on Will Wade's 5-game suspension is that we did our due diligence and extensive research. We understand the allegations that are still pending. Through my conversations with Coach Wade throughout this process, I made him aware that we obviously take these allegations seriously. We take the NCAA rules and compliance seriously as well, and we wanted to take a proactive approach and set restrictions at the start to show our campus, system, and state stakeholders that we understand and respect the process of the NCAA and the NCAA. So, Zach, I have a problem with this. a pretty massive problem with this. So Will Wade is obviously suspended for 5 games to start the year. What I think is an obvious gesture to say and show, okay, guys, look, can we be done with this? I messed up. Let's move on. I think that's what McNeese State is saying, and I think that this is what Will Wade is saying. Now, it wasn't Will Wade's contract to start off the season suspended for 5 games. But when Heath Schroyer, the McNeese State AD, says we did our due diligence, and then he comes right behind that and says, I made him aware that we obviously take these allegations seriously. We take the rules and regulations and compliance under serious regard. And then he says, we know that we understand that the allegations are still pending, though. That makes no sense. So then you didn't do your due diligence. When you do your due diligence, that's you picking up the phone and saying, hey, what you going to give Will Wade? And it sounds like if it's only a 5-game suspension and they really did do their due diligence, that Will Wade is only going to be suspended for 5 games, which is 1 game suspended for every level 1 violation that he had. I don't want to fight with you anymore over what you believe about Will Wade. I think that the people that are fighting with you are fighting for Will Wade and trying to put him out in the spotlight as some kind of Jesus Christ Almighty. Congratulations. You're not solving any of the world's problems, right? Like, you're not solving anything with this. At some point, LSU fans, we got to move on from this. Will Wade going to McNeese seems to me to be an ultimate troll job. You mean to tell me that of all the mid-major programs in all of America, that he had to come back to Louisiana to McNeese State? They were the only teams offering him? Like, oh, okay, well, that's cool. LSU and McNeese are on 2 completely different playing fields when it comes to who they're recruiting, what conference they're in, the facilities. I mean, everybody's talking about the facilities down at McNeese. I've been there. I spent a third of my life in the Southland Conference. Those facilities, with all due respect, and I really do love Lake Charles, are not better than the PMAC. And I feel like when you walk in the PMAC, it's like walking back in time into 1986. It's not the same. But I don't want to fight with you anymore over Will Wade. I don't want to. I don't want this fight anymore. Can we move on? Can you finally get to a situation in your brain that we can just move on? He ain't better than Mac McMahon. Will Wade left you with 1 scholarship player. 1. Uno, if you speak Spanish. 1. Kim Mulkey's doing better in year 2. Jay Johnson's doing better in year 2. Would seem to me that Brian Kelly might do better in year 2. What do you think Matt McMahon's going to do in year 2? Now he's got to get better in recruiting. Oh, I didn't mean to do that, Zach. I didn't mean to do that, Zach. Damn. I mean, but I'm not lying. I didn't mean to do that. That's why I should give it to you to bring this stuff up. But like I tell Matt there, okay, so that's Matt Trent from WBRZ, who he just sent me that. And I'm like, I mean, am I a complete idiot? Or does that contradict it? I mean, Zach, does it not contradict itself? I mean, he says we do our due diligence, but the allegations and everything's still pending. Well, what's taking so long? And then, like, everybody claims me to be this Will Wade hater. I don't hate Will Wade. I hate that Will. What I hate is I don't hate Will Wade the person. I hate the Will Wade's actions is what I hate. I hate that LSU's got 5 level 1 allegations. I don't get why I'm supposed to be labeled as some kind of bad guy because I'm upset at the situation at hand that legitimately has LSU with 5 level 1 allegations. Now, what does that mean for LSU? You got Pat 40 out there saying hired on a Monday, suspended on a Tuesday. Pat, like, buddy, hush. Either literally the day before you said that the IARP is nothing but, and I'm not paraphrasing, I'm just paraphrasing. You didn't say this exactly, but it's nothing but a bunch of scoundrels. So to Pat 40, for what it's worth, when you're making fun of this Lighton situation, yet you go back and you say, well, the IARP completely dropped the ball on all of this. What else did they drop the ball on? Did they drop the ball on Will Wade? And it looks like they did. Did they drop it on Bill Self? Did they drop it on Penny Hardaway? Did they do it like Pat? We have Rick Pitino literally hands in the mud on hiring an escort service in which those ladies brought a level 1 narcotic to a dorm room, and a recruit was like literally sleeping on a couch, woke up, and a prostitute was giving the kid a lap dance while other prostitutes were doing cocaine. But what Pat 40 or what anybody around, like, can we move on from this? The only thing that anybody in this chat should care about, what are the violations that LSU is going to get? Because as God is my witness, Zach, at 10 p.m. at night, as God is my witness, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, amen. If Will Wade is not hit harder than LSU is on the actions of Will Wade after Joel Leave has been fired, F. King Alexander has been fired, you have a new AD, a new president, you have a brand new football coach, twice removed, I might add. Everything has changed. Everything has changed. We have a new governor who put in new board members. Everything has changed. I'm so tired of talking about this. I will be the most glad that I've ever been in doing this show for 3+ solid years when it comes to the fact and point and scenario that we get at where we don't have to talk about this anymore. I'm there, man. I'm there. Ryan on YouTube says, ask the bear about powder. It's a hell of a drug. I guess you're talking about, like, what's that movie called? Zach, Cocaine Bear. Remember the movie Cocaine Bear's out? Yeah. Chili says, Colin Hurley did his thing in New Orleans. Like, that he did. So we can talk a little LSU football. Zach, by the way, we're not going to go too terrible. I'm not going to keep you here the whole hour. We're not going to go the whole hour, guys. I mean, it's already 10 o'clock. But I did want to do a show. I did. And look, Colin Hurley, man, I mean, I really think he's a bigger, like he's heavier, but he reminds me so much of Tua coming out, man. He's a right-handed Tua. You cannot convince me that he's just not a bigger, more, I would just say not maybe more, maybe he is more athletic, a more athletic body build than Tua. You can't convince me otherwise. Like I'm talking to buddies of mine that cover Alabama, and I'm telling them about my conversations with Colin, and they were like, dude, Tua did the same exact thing. Like every time, so as an example, let me give an example. One of my buddies that works at works for a publication that covers Alabama, he told me, Zach, that one night they went to an Alabama baseball game and they let Tua throw out the first pitch. They walked in together and him and Tua had like a 45-minute conversation. Like just a media member, just because he saw him. That's Colin, dude. Like, he is the ultimate team leader. The ultimate team leader. And he was there this past week. He got to see everything going on. Now, I did not bring this up last night. And David said he's a better passer than Tua. Guys, Tua was pretty good. I mean, if you would have said a better athlete, a better runner, like more physical, I would have been like, okay, yeah. Better passer. Like, dog, y'all better go pull up Tua's stats. Joe, Zach, do me a favor. Can you pull up Tua's stats right quick? I mean, like, come on, man. Come on, man. I did see this. Chance Babbitt says that Colin Hurley and Anthony Richardson work out. I saw that. But look, he was there this past week, and I guess even just a small LSU football update. JD Daniels. That's JD Daniels. See, it's 10 o'clock, man. JD Daniels is back in California working out with the NFL guys. Just doing what he does. Garrett Nussmeier's back staying in Baton Rouge. He's been getting some workout in as well with some of the guys. But look, like I told you, and I posted that photo on Twitter and Facebook, and I hope that you got to see it. But guys, I told you, Jaden looks bigger, man. I mean, it looks like he's put on weight, especially in his upper body. I think that he'll do that again. I hope that Jane Daniels is 210 by start of season, and I hope that his speed stays the same. I think that it will, but I had somebody on staff tell me, Blake, when he came in from Arizona State, he was 185. He's 205 right now. So in the time frame of him stepping on campus a year ago to now, he's added 20 pounds. That's got a lot of things to do with. LSU has better facilities. All right, here we go. So his freshman year, he went 49 of 77. That's not bad. 633 yards, 11 touchdowns. All right, you can keep it right there, Zach. 18, obviously he got to the national championship game. 244 completions, 355. If you're listening to us on podcast, I'm sorry, this is Tua's stats. 355 attempts, 69. What a hell of a completion percentage. 69. I'm not going to tell you all the video that Zach sent me this week, but it was pretty funny this past weekend. Zach and them were in Hammond, which, by the way, he refused to come over to my house and hang out. Just utter embarrassing. He was at Yellowbird, so shout out to Yellowbird and Hammond. They went to Yellowbird, and Yellowbird had the air AC on, and the air was set at 69. How about that, Zach? 69. Doing the nasty up in Yellowbird. But nevertheless, he threw for 4,000 yards and 43 touchdowns. Crazy he didn't win the Heisman there. Who won the Heisman in 18? I'm trying to think. Don't tell me. Nobody tell me. I'm going to close my eyes. Who won the Heisman before Burrow? Let me think. Oh, was it Kyler Murray? Yeah. Kyler Murray? Yeah. And then as a senior, and he got hurt that year. 180 completions, 252. But, I mean, he was on pace, guys. Guys, through 9 games, he had 33 touchdown passes. He would have played – dude, Alabama was the second-best team that year. Let's call it what it is. And they would have been matched up with LSU in the playoff. They would have met LSU back in the playoff again. He would have had over 43 touchdowns. So Tua was insane. Like, Tua was absolutely insane from a freshman to a senior. Like, I mean, so I think that LSU, you know what my we can take this down, Zach. You know what my ultimate wish was? Like, as we're looking through Tua stats, I was hoping that Tua would have remained healthy that entire season, and then LSU and Alabama would have played each other in the national championship game in 19, because that 19 team would have beaten Alabama in 19 again, and it would have been the ultimate redemption. Because, guys, it was almost the 10-year anniversary from 11, and you were back in the dome. It's the redemption tour, and there's no way on God's green earth that Burrow's losing. None. Zero. Zilch. That's one of those games that I ultimately feel like we didn't get to have. There are just games in sports that you should have that you don't. Like you should have that you don't. So yeah, man. But anyway, back on the football talk. Guys are going through spring break. They're all working out. A lot of guys stayed. I know that Jaden's going to be back this weekend to get some prep and some work in. So, yeah, then we'll pick it back up. So, we'll see. We'll see. David Nola says, I was talking about both at high school level. Oh, I got you. Not Colin in high school versus Tua in junior in college. Yeah. I mean that's David. That's pretty fair. That's pretty fair by you, David. I'll admit. Chili says, #Ask Blake. Before you go, I need your thoughts on the running back class in Louisiana in 2025. I think it's a really good class. Let me go get that list that I have on my website. Hold on. Let me do this. Because I have this list of running backs in 2025, and I want to be able to pull it up. Hold on. All right. So you do have Jalen Coleman, the running back out of Vandy Catholic out of Houma. I think he's like 5'10". This says 175 in my note, 170, 175 question mark in my notes. He's a top national player, top 40 player. And then you got Harlem Berry out of Metairie out of St. Martin's Episcopal. Listed 5'11", 175. He's a 5-star. He's a number 19 nationally ranked guy. And then, some people have, I mean, look, it's really top heavy, and there's a couple other, like 3 or 4 in them in there. But to that question, I mean, it's loaded, man. It's loaded. And again, I think it just ultimately goes to the point where if you're Brian Kelly and you see Harlem Berry and the gang, like when you go to St. Martin's Episcopal in Metairie and you go see Harlem Berry play, and you're just like, dude, this is insanity. And then you see Jalen Coleman. So, guys, it's going to be the best 1-2 punch the state, I think, has ever seen in reference to recruits at the same time. Like the only one that I can really remember of the recent nature, was, I think, wasn't it Jeremy Hill and Terrence McGee came out around the same time? I mean, that both of them having 1,000-yard seasons at one point in their careers. So I think it's massive. Who asked that question again? Chili. So Chili, I hope that answers your question, but it looks pretty good. All right, Zach, we're going to do this. We're going to cut the show a little bit short tonight. I know, because it's late. It's really, really late, but I just wanted to get something in as well. They're saying Simon may be better than Barry, says Chili. You can put that one up there, Zach. Maybe, man. Maybe. I will be Chili, I will be openly honest. I've seen Harlem Berry play and the Coleman kid. I have not seen Simon play, so I will be open there. I don't know. I that part I don't know. All right. We'll cut it short tonight. Probably the quickest episode, Zach, that we've ever done. Gotta be. All right. We'll see y'all tomorrow. We're guessing up twice tomorrow. I don't know who yet, but we'll guess up twice. And Rufino Joe show at 6. So a lot of things going on tomorrow. All right. See y'all soon. Peace, guys.